opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Wednesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Anthony Hartwig with you alongside Mr. Scotty Mencher. Scotty, how are we doing today?
I'm good, man. Another day above the ground. So
No, yes. Thank
I'm
God
good.
for that, right?
Yeah,
We're not 6 feet under yet, so we have
not
plenty
yet.
of work to do. We're not going to waste too much time. It's Running Wednesdays. You know what the drill. Track and field season is upon us. Episode 5 coming at you with Rick Seipert. Here we go. Anthony Hartwig, Rick Seipert here for another exciting episode of Running Wednesdays with Rick Seipert. Episode 5, Coach. We are here. We are running towards the postseason very quickly, and we have another fun week. We have another fun group of special guests. We have a panel from Austintown Fitch, who has been so successful this season, in not just the AAC, but in the region. So we're going to bring them up here. We have 4 representatives from Austintown Fitch joining us. Thank you all for joining us today on Running Wednesdays, episode 5. What we're going to do first is we're going to go right to left for you guys. Introduce yourselves and what class you're in.
Deontay Stallings, class of 2025.
Deani Thompson, class of 2024.
Megan Bradis, class of 2025.
Justin Solid, class of 2025.
All right, guys. My first question is, with all the success that's been happening this year with Austintown Fitch, what are some of your proudest moments or things that you're so proud of that you've been able to accomplish this year?
I would say the win at Optimist Beavers down Alfred County. You know, we lost a lot of these, but Optimist was a big win for the team.
For me, it was winning Mahoney County for our team. We all got together as a team and just came for the win together.
I could agree with Deani, like winning county, like being able to fight as a team to get the title.
Like Tay said, the one in the Optimist team, and then also one in the mile.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. You're having a great season, clearly. All of you are complete standouts throughout the entire area and within the region, like Coach said here. Can you guys take us through like a day in the life of practice? I mean, you guys are all pretty diverse. We have 2 hurdlers, a pole vaulter, and a distance runner. So take us through the day in the life of you guys at Fitch Track and Field.
We take our warm-up pretty serious, you know. We get after it in the warm-up, and then it's like a battle, you know, and like individual events like hurdles and getting block starts and stuff like that. So, I don't know.
Basically, yeah, the warm-up, we take our warm-up serious, and then we go in, we do stuff for sprinting, and then we break off in our little groups, and hurdlers a hurdle. We'll work up on 100 hurdles and 300 hurdles. Some days workouts, but that's mostly what it consists of.
For me, I have a sprint practice and we'll do like some sprinting like techniques, and then later we'll do pole vault practice and we'll do drills, and then we'll actually get into jumping, get back to our long runs.
For distance, it's different. So on easy days, we have a big group of people. We just go and run together, which is nice. But then on workout days, we'll warm up together, and then workouts, it's pretty much solo. I have Caden Jones. He's a good workout partner, but
We're almost at the end of the season, but when the season was starting, what were some goals that each of you set that you wanted to achieve this year for your personal journey?
I set the goal of being regional and district champ in the 110 and 300 hurdles. I still think that's a very reasonable goal that I can reach right now.
My goal is just to come out in districts and just come in first place. That's my only goal, just to get my get back from last year.
My goal this year was break our school record, which I'm pretty close to, and then just make it to state this year and stay consistent jumping.
My goal was to win the mile and 8 at districts and also break our 800-meter school record, which is from the 1980s.
I really think you guys are all pretty close to those things. I'm really looking forward to it. I know we're rival schools and all those things, but once the postseason goes, it's fun to see all the local kids doing well and representing the Valley at state. So, tip of the hat to all of you. I know you guys have been, we've been through everything in all the meets that we're at. So I really hope you guys all end up hitting your goals this year in all those cases. It's kind of nice because I know that whether it's Fitch kids and Boardman kids, 4 people make it out of districts to the regional, and 4 people go from regionals to state. So it's kind of easy to cheer for everybody around in those cases. What's some advice you guys have for the young kids that are coming through Fitch track and field right now? I know you guys had some standouts in the 7th and 8th grade levels there. What kind of a lasting impression do you want to have for them as you move on in your careers?
I would say keep working, don't stop. I know a goal might seem like you can't reach it as fast as you wanted to, but just keep working. You can always get there as soon as possible. You keep working.
My advice would be not every race you're gonna PR, not every race is gonna be your best race. But as long as you're getting your 100% that you have, then just you'll keep progressing as the season goes on.
I'd say stay positive during setbacks. Not every day is gonna be your best, and things are gonna happen. But the ultimate goal is at the end of the season, just stay healthy and keep pushing towards the end of the season.
I'd say that the biggest thing is consistency and staying disciplined throughout the whole season. Through indoor and outdoor, it's a long season. It's 7-8 months, so just staying consistent. Even on days where you just want to take off, still going out and putting the work in.
In the same area of questioning, who were some people that you looked up to that gave you good advice when you were coming up in the ranks, when you were in 7th and 8th grade, and who were some people that you looked up to and wanted to be like?
My guy Reggie Floyd, Jared Brown, Dan Evans. Much of my older guys, upperclassmen that always look down on me. They always have my back when it came to back.
I looked up to mostly just my mom, trying to live in her legacy and get how she was back when she ran track.
Back since Kelly, she had both the pole vault indoor records and outdoor record, and I just really wanted to achieve my goals, and probably my mom for always being there to support me and help me.
Brogan Roby, Kyle Kane, Logan, they were all there for my freshman and sophomore year. They were big influences on me to help me.
So let's talk about some of the workouts you guys have. I know my kids, they have workouts they love, some that they hate. Can you guys run us through some of your favorite and least favorite workouts that you guys do over there?
We can start with the least favorites. Definitely the 3x150s and the 2x200s. That's a good workout for you in the long run, but it's just the feeling of the lactic acid and stuff. It ain't good for as we get through it. It hurts. I'll tell you that right now.
Definitely the 2x200s. It don't sound hard, but it hurt after. It never felt good after I ran it ever.
Yeah, I can agree with you on it. That's why it seems so simple, but it's just not very difficult.
Least favorite is probably 800s or 1Ks, just the longer stuff.
So in the superstition category, game day meet routines. You guys got anything routines that you have to stick to? Any things that you try to do in the superstitions category before a meet?
Um, Rule number one, you always got to drink in Arizona before the meet. Just one. Rule number one, you just got to. And then always text my mom, whisper good luck, and then that's it for real, bro. And then you just hope for the best.
I like to pray before every race. Just before I go into every race, I just have to pray before it, just to make sure I know God's up on my side right before I run, and to take away all the fears and worries that I be having before I run.
Even before we go and warm up, I pray, and then however warms we're going, I just have the same routine of how I get on the runway and how I approach my jumping.
Yeah, I keep the same routine every meet day, and I also pray before my races. Just to show how I'm grateful to be healthy and be able to race. It's a gift.
Yeah, this is kind of a mental sport, and keeping those routines is very important. What are some things you guys like to hear from your coaches, from your friends, from your parents, anybody that is your supporter? What do you like to hear from them when the times get tough out there?
I like to be reminded that there's always somebody, working as hard as I am, or maybe even working harder than I am. And, it motivates me to work harder so that I can, be that top guy and come out better than guys like.
I just like to hear after any race, my mom is always on the back stretch just yelling for me to finish the race because she knows that's when I'm at the tiredest moment. So I like to hear her at the back stretch because it keeps me pushing more motivated.
Yeah, I just like to hear if I'm having nervous before or doubting myself, just to hear that I know what I'm doing, and I know that I can go out there and compete to my highest ability, and I know I have a support system behind me.
With distance, you could run fast or slow, and a lot of times it's going to hurt regardless. So my coach just, basically tells me make it worth it. It's going to hurt running fast or slow, so get out hard.
While we're talking about the mental aspect of the sport, we've asked you guys about the physical things you do, training and the workouts that you do. What are some, strategies and ways you keep yourselves in the right mental mindset every meet and make sure that you can bounce back from maybe you're not your best time, like some of you were talking about before, you're not going to have your best time every single time you go out there. So what kind of things do you do to keep in the right mental space every time you go out there?
I like to, reassure myself, I can do, I know what I can do. I watch my best races, always just know, I'm one of the guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of them. So I just, like to remind myself. It always helps.
I like to take deep belly breaths, do RPR, and just keep reassuring myself, telling myself, I know my worth and what I could do out up on the track. So one bad race isn't gonna, what's that? One bad race isn't gonna define me.
And if you have a bad practice, just taking what I can learn from that. It might not have been good physically wise, but learning from the mistakes or what went wrong that day helps me to change things for the next day and have a better day.
Yeah, if I'm ever nervous before a race, I just think of all the workouts and everything that I put in, and that this race I'm in shape.
How about for other than track, guys? Stepping off the track, obviously you're all student athletes as well. What's the plans for the next steps for you? College plans? What's your favorite subjects? What do you want to study? Where are you heading?
Right now I'm undecided, but favorite subject, I'll have to say probably math. Not really, I probably don't seem like a big math guy, but it just come off kind of easy. I don't know, but yeah, math, just locked in right now. I don't know. The grades have to show because I'm trying to focus in on football right now.
I'm committed to Mount Union. I'm going into major in business. And then my favorite subject would be math too, because it's just, I don't know, once you get it down, you know what to do. It's one of those type of things.
I'm undecided what college I want to go to, but my favorite subject is definitely also math. Just kind of once you catch on, it's easy. But I like to study either criminal justice or anything with the body, physical therapy or something like that.
My favorite subject is probably science or math. You know, both of the two I like. They're interesting. I have not decided where I'm going to go to college yet, but I want to go somewhere in the medical.
What are your guys' favorite way to celebrate after a big meet? You get a big win, you get a good personal record. What are your favorite things to do afterwards to celebrate the big wins?
I like to go out with the team, go get food or something. You gotta like cherish the moment, like something big like that happens. Like I said earlier, we haven't had the best of luck with like winning meets and stuff. So like a win and something like this coming down in districts would mean a lot. So
I also like to go and celebrate with the team, just to celebrate with the people who was there to witness what happened. And if not the team, I'm going to celebrate with my family because they also seen what happened, witnessed it.
Yeah, like if we were running a team, like going out to eat or like just spending time with them, like cherishing how hard we worked to get to that moment to win. And if it's like a personal achievement, like just being with my family because they have my back at all times and they've been my biggest support system.
Definitely celebrating with the team is the best way. You know, the people that push me, help push me in practice every day to get that record or break mine. Yeah.
Good stuff. So, any post-meet meals that you have to have every time?
I'm a big Chipotle guy. If it's not Chipotle, most likely Chipotle. Big guy though, I like that stuff.
I change it up every time. There's no specific meal I'm eating before a meet. It's anything that could be eaten is the song.
Like before meets, I usually get like Subway sandwich, just to, like fill me up.
Before meets, usually I'll eat like pasta, something high in carbs.
Do any of you have any hidden talents, things that you think you're particularly good at that aren't related to track and field?
No.
The quick no. It's like no, nothing.
It's not hidden if it's a talent to be.
How about favorite teachers that you guys want to give a shout out to today?
Miss Bernard, math teacher, one of the ones, man. She really looked out for me this year. I ain't even gonna lie. Miss Best in that was my 6th grade year. But they love them guys. Some real people right there.
Shout out to Miss Dunn because since sophomore year, Miss Dunn has been the teacher I could just lean on. She's definitely been just the teacher I could go to with anything. So shout out to Miss Dunn.
Yeah, shout out to Miss Carselli. Like she's definitely made this year more fun. She's always been with me to like help me and support me with everything. So
yeah, Miss Carselli, Miss Herbert, and Mr. Drummond have all helped me a lot this year. With school and learning and everything.
All right, what we like to do at the end of these profiles, we do them with every athlete we interview. We give them the chance to take the spotlight off themselves for a little bit and shine on the people that are in their life that support them, that have their back. So each of you, I want you to take your time to thank the people in your life that support you and give your shout outs out before we let you go.
I'd definitely like to thanks to my mom. Without this, it definitely wouldn't be possible. My big brother, he really pushed me to keep going. Mostly just my family, for real. Like I thank my coaches too, for sure. Like a lot of family.
I want to thank my mom. She, as a single mother, she's definitely showed up and showed out. She never made me feel like any type of way towards her, just being her. She's been my biggest supporter through everything. My family, they've also been my biggest supporters and throughout it all. My coaches, I appreciate all the time they put in to getting me where I am. And the man above, of course, for all the lessons he's gave me.
I'd like to thank my mom and my dad. Like they've always supported me and like they take me places to get extra work and they really just support my dream to the fullest. And my grandma and my aunt and my cousin, like if anything's going on, and my siblings, like they're always there standing beside me and supporting me and cheering me on.
My mom has always been there to support me. My dad always pushes me to know that I'm never as good as I could be, to keep pushing harder. And definitely my coaches and teammates were always pushing harder in practice. And God.
All right, everyone, we want to thank you all so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it. We know that you guys are killing it out on the track. You're representing Fitch so well. Everyone here at YSN is proud of you. We support you guys all year. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the season. We hope it goes on as long as it can, and we can't wait to talk to you all real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good luck.
Awesome. A panel of Fitch athletes. Fitch athletes are just killing it right now. Every sport seems like Fitch is in the conversation. Their softball team obviously won state last year, but their football team's always good. Track and field is perennial. Basketball team's always in there. Something in the water down there at Fitch, Coach. They're always popping out good athletes everywhere you turn.
Absolutely. I definitely thought that we needed to give them some love. It's just because they have such a standout program every year. Again, top-notch sprints, top-notch hurdlers, throwers, pole vaulters. I mean, you name it. Year by year, they have it.
You know, we talk to their athletes. We don't really get to talk to their coaching staff with them, but you know their coaching staff pretty well. What do you think their coaches do so well down there at Fitch that makes their program good? Not just 4 years of good talent coming through. They have a consistent program that spans a lot more than just one really good class that comes through and is good for 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, you have to care about the craft, and I really think that everybody over there is like a student of the game. If you, so like Seth does a great job, Mike does a good job. I mean, every single year they have somebody that's going to, do very, very well. Again, like I said, I really enjoy watching them, especially at the postseason. Anybody that's representing the Valley the right way and getting down to, well, this year we'll be going to Dayton, but anytime you can see our local athletes at the state meet, you have to pull for them. Since I'm like in the mix with everybody, every day out in the rain, out in the snow, sometimes, I know what these coaches put in. So it's nice to see how these kids end up performing at the end of the season there.
Did you get a smile when the last one finally said that science was a little bit of a favorite subject? Everyone was saying math, and
it's all good.
Here's
Math
one
and
that says science.
They're interconnected, so yeah, it makes me happy to hear that people care about the sciences there too. So I'm in a good mood with that one today.
For those of you that can't tell from the board behind Coach Seipert, he's a biology teacher, so he teaches about DNA.
Yeah, our AP bio test is Thursday, so I just put there's probably 200 terms on the board behind me today, and we just went rapid fire and got through every single one in the classes. So that's how we rolled for the crunch week to get in there on Thursday.
Good luck to everyone in AP Bio on Thursday. May the force be with you. All right, so let's talk about the results that came in the last week. It was conference championship week. Some of them were on last Tuesday, some of them were on Thursday, some of them were over the weekend. Why don't you run down some of the big performances and obviously your conference champions?
It was a good week on some days. It was not such a good day on other days. So the week started out beautiful, and then it just progressively got terrible, and then it got okay-ish by Saturday. Unfortunately, our conference, the AAC, we showed up on Thursday to Austintown. Everybody was ready to go. We unpacked the bus. We set up our tent, and they bagged the meat. So we don't have a conference champion this year. So it is what it is in that sense. So unfortunately, we'll have to wait until districts this week to run against the Fitch kids and the Howland kids and the Warren kids in that big meet there. So
real quick before you go on, because I'm interested, because for other sports, if they have postseason awards, they're usually determined, especially player of the year, determined by the conference champion. Usually goes to the conference champion. Do they just do the best times when you don't have a conference champion in track?
We chose not to do that this year because it's hard to compare things in those cases. Like Anthony, you could be running in Myrtle Beach and drop the fastest time in the state, and I'm running in a rainstorm in Dayton, and I run slower. So I mean, you're comparing apples and oranges in those cases.
Right.
And then we thought about using the prelim times from districts. Unfortunately, though, Canfield's girls are D2, so it will not be a similar site in that case. And if you saw the weather, Wednesday for our district semifinals is looking exactly as bad as it was last Thursday. So we're going to figure it out anyways in that kind of condition. So maybe last week would have been a good opportunity for us to be able to run fast in those conditions, or at least learn how to compete in those conditions instead. But I mean, the safety aspect of it, it was raining hard enough and the wind was blowing hard enough to immediately cancel the pole vault. And then the boards for long jump were compromised that day as well. So we had to cancel long jump and then high jump. And then there was an inch of water in the rings for throws. So by that point, it was just, like I said, a safety decision, and our conference meet went down this year. So unfortunately, no conference champions, no first team all conference athletes. We'll just have to train again hard next year for that one. So unfortunately, that's just the way it went down.
That
And there
just
was
means you
nowhere.
work
There was
harder to
nowhere.
get all districts, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there was nowhere to make it up. We could have did the
Right.
next day, but our prom, Fitch's prom, Howland's
Oh.
prom. So then trying to come back on Saturday, that wasn't going to work either, because then you have kids up all night dancing and doing whatever they do at proms, and that's just a recipe for failure in those cases. So
I was talking to some softball coach. Like, I can't remember prom being this late before, like where it runs into postseason. Like, usually it's a little bit before this in my recollection. I haven't been in high school since 2011, but like, I've covered high school sports before, but this is the one year where I remember prom running into postseason. Am I right? Is it usually a little bit earlier?
Ours goes back and forth between last Friday and the Friday before. So, I mean, it works out. That Friday is perfect for us, because typically that last weekend there, we don't run that weekend. So prom's a perfect fit for that location. But like I said, it bit us this year. So hopefully we can go back to the drawing board and make sure we maybe get that meet early in the week. So if there is an issue, we can reschedule it. But yeah, it was just an unfortunate turn of events there that we ended up bagging the conference meet for us this year. But oh well, everybody still gets to run at districts on Wednesday this week, so I'm excited about that. So in other action, though, we had the Northeast 8. Northeast 8 is with the team champion was the Girard girls, and then the South Range boys. South Range boys, they've been cooking all year, as you know, and then the the Girard girls, they were carried by Mia Melito. She was a multi-event winner at that meet. Micaiah Simpson, still from Niles, she was a double champion in the 100 and the 200. Troy Combs from South Range stepped up in the 1 and the 2. Big Dog of the Valley, Hudson Moorfield was the 400-meter champion. A lot of big standout performances there. And this is the time of the year when you start to see some people start to cook out of nowhere, too. Anthony Bengala from Girard turned in a 40.74 in the 300 hurdles. So that's a pretty nice mark there for him. Hopefully he's able to pull it through all the way into the district meet this week. In the MVAC Scarlet Division, the McDonald teams cleaned the house. The boys and the girls were both champions. And our panel of throwers from last week, it's really cool to say this too, all 5 of them threw mile split elite performance marks. So not only did we interview the right people last week, Coach, but they also showed up and threw some insanely big marks at their conference meet. So those 5 throwers carried their teams to a championship over there. Ava Vecchione from from Springfield local. She was a multi-event winner. She turned in the 100, the 200, and the 300 hurdles there. Sophia Yawn doing the 8 and the 16. Faith Sullivan won the 3,200, who's also another big dog in the valley. Everybody's starting to cook over there. We have a lot of good performances out of Michael Balone once again. He was the winner in the long jump, the 300 hurdles, the high hurdle, the 110 hurdles, as well as second place to his teammate in the 100-meter dash. So all those teams are starting to cook over there. I'm really excited to see them go. Like I said, once districts gets going here. In the MVAC Gray Division, the Garrettsville-Garfield teams pretty much dominated that entire meet. They cleaned house in both the boys and girls divisions. Zach Stinson from Newton Falls turned in a big day in the high jump and long jump. Dan Orwig from Champion turned in a meet record over there with a 10.94 in the 100-meter dash. Christian Davis, again from Brookfield, won the 200 and the 400. Lila Hayes from LeBray was the 100, 200-meter champion, and Adri Hodge from Garfield won the 8, the 16, and the 32. And for those of you that aren't familiar with it, too, to do a triple of the 8, the 16, and the 32 on a day that was as hot as last Tuesday is so insanely impressive, okay? Not only did she win the 3 events, but she also ran pretty good times in all 3 of them as well. So she must have been carb loading and really hydrating with the electrolytes that day. Over the weekend, the EOAC meet was down at East Palestine, and Columbiana was the meet champion in both the men's and women's divisions. Brinsley Hiscox from United turned in a big day across the board in all the sprint events. Trent Ellison had a big throw in the discus, 146-1, and then Maddox Brown from Columbiana was a 6'1". He was a 6'1" high jumper over there. Danny Milburn continues to kill it for United Sprints. I mean, Coach, we're talking about a lot of kids that are going to be representing us over there in Dayton this year. I have really high hopes to be saying these same names over and over and over again, going into regional week and then finally into the state week there. So we're going to see some all Ohioans. The last meet that we went over last week was the Eastern Buckeye Conference, and that was held over at Salem Stadium. The women from Salem were the meet champions, and then the Marlington Dukes were the men's champions over there. Salem appears to be clicking at the right time. They turned into 9:43 in the 4x8, and it was mostly uncontested the whole time. So to run a time that fast in that event, it's pretty impressive for those girls. And again, the same girls that we always hear from them, Maggie Hall, Megan Stafford, Kaylee Carlisle. I mean, they're 4x4. They're absolutely killing it over there. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to do when we get to the district meet this week. And
District meets this week, like you just said. This is when postseason happens. This is when the times matter the most. Everything you've put in all year comes down to this moment. As a coach, what's it like gearing up for the postseason and getting everyone ready for these districts where it's run well or don't advance?
exactly. So for the semifinals for the district meet, the top 8 places, the top 8 people are going to advance to the final, and then on Friday for us, and then Friday the top 4 times advance to the next week for the regional. It's like 8-4, 8-4, and then Ohio added in a wild card because of those weather conditions. So the next 2 fastest times from all of the regions are wild card qualifiers to go to the state meet. And that's important because there's some regions that are so loaded that the 5th place and sometimes 6th place team in that region would win another region. So it's very nice that they added those in there because you're giving kids an opportunity to shine in those cases. A couple of years ago, we had Ben Alvarico. He was the wild card qualifier in the 200-meter dash. He ended up being on the state podium from the wild card position. So several years ago, whereas he wouldn't have made it at all, he ended up becoming an All-Ohioan because of that wild card. So they did a lot of good things to help the sport and recognize kids there. But you're right, though. This is the time of the year where, survive and advance is what we always say every day. You don't have to PR every single time, but it's going to help at this point, obviously. Everybody's running fast. Everyone's tapering right now. People are getting their bodies ready to go, and they're freshening up to get over there to Dayton. In many cases, if you're doing a workout, that workout's not even going to be applicable to your system for like 8 to 14 days, depending on how your physiology is working in those cases. So what we're just trying to do in these with our kids right now is make sure they're as fresh as they can. They're prepared. They have the mental game down. They have the mechanical game down, and they just know it's do or die in these situations.
I want to give you the time before we look at the big scope of districts and some of the favorites to come out of districts in the Ysn family. Talk about your own team and how they're looking going into the districts and what you think your girls can do and how the outlook is going into Wednesday.
I'm really excited to see how this all goes. We were going to try a lot of new things at AAC last week to try to pull that one off. Obviously, we didn't get that opportunity, so we're putting together a couple of relays that I haven't ran all season together. So we're kind of putting all the puzzle pieces together. We hang our hat on our mid distance and distance events over here at Boardman. So our 4x4s, our 4x8s, milers, 2 milers, 800 runners, 400 runners. I'm really hoping to see that we can represent everybody very well. Sarah Barrow is still one of the tops, and she is the top girl in shot put in the region. So I'm hoping to see a lot of her out of her. I'm looking to see how some of our freshmen compete at this meet. There's a lot of variables that are going into play with this one. All of us are looking up at the Solon girls team right now. I mean, they're amazing. They won the district every year since they joined it. As close as we've ever gotten was 3.5 points in 2021, and they must have gotten woken up by that because it hasn't even been close for us since then. But that's how it goes sometimes in track and field. You know, you might not get first place, but second place at the state meet's not bad. Neither is third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, or eighth. If you're on that state podium, you're on that state podium, no matter what the place was.
All right, now let's talk about some of the, perennial favorites to not just succeed in districts, but you think could have a good shot of going to Dayton.
Fitch has a very solid team. I think we're in the mix if things fall our way to be in the top 3 for the district there. Fitch's boys will be going toe to toe with Solon over there, and it's kind of weird too. Like track scoring, it benefits teams with balance rather than just a superstar at some of these bigger meets. If you only win 3 events, that's 30 points. But if I get 5th in all the events, I'll end up having more points than you, even though you ended up having like the superstar performances of the meet there. So, I mean, you have to like nickel and dime some of these meets together just to get what you can to be like higher in the standings for those championship meets. I also think that Salem's girls team, they're going to put a show on this postseason. I'm not sleeping on McDonald. Liberty's very good. South Range boys are very good. We have some standouts in individual events like we've talked about most of the season here. Kaylee Richards from Maplewood. Harding has jumpers and hurdlers. Balone over there at Lowville, plus their sprint relays. I mean, there's a lot of good teams that are going to be putting things out there. And, it's track. Some good things are going to happen. Some not so good things are going to happen. You'll have some surprises in the good way. You'll have some surprises in the bad way as well, unfortunately. So it's all about surviving and advancing at this stage of the game, Coach.
Surprises. I want to hear maybe 1 or 2 picks for you of sleeper teams or sleeper runners that you think would be a candidate for one of those surprise wins or a surprise time in districts.
I'm going to go with our very own Brock Ferris over here. He did something pretty wild at a dual meet a couple weeks ago, like on a Tuesday. I mean, Tuesday meets, we run hard, but I mean, it's not the same kind of juice that you would have at like a weekend meet. I'm looking for Brock to put some kind of a crazy mark up there. Justin Solly, who we just had on, he's been running fantastic as well. If his goal was to run the 8 and the mile, I know who the guys are that he has to get through to win that 800, especially on a double as well. So I'm really looking forward to see what Justin and Brock do when they get out there. And I know they're good buddies as well. They talk back and forth like in a positive sense, despite being at rival schools. So, it's always like endearing to hear that even though they're rivals, they still want to work together. I mean, you heard Blake and Brock talk a couple weeks ago. Even though they're rivals, it's very nice, and I truly mean what I said. Like, 4 of us are able to go from the district to the regional, so why can't we cheer for our friendly rivals here at the postseason portion of the season?
All right, Coach. When we come back next week, districts will be done. We'll be recapping that. Then we're going to be talking about regionals, trying to get kids not just out of districts, but into state, into Dayton. That's going to be fun. I can't wait for it. Episode 6 on the way next week, Coach. I want to thank you for your time as always. I want to wish good luck to your AP Bio students again.
Thank you.
Much that test on Thursday. This show will air before Thursday, so they'll get that. My biggest advice for you: multiple choice. The answer is almost never E.
Yes, very
there
good.
You go.
I'll remind them that for the final preparation tomorrow. But hey, student athletes, we got to go student first, so we're going to hit the books pretty hard for the final preparation there on Thursday for them.
All right, Coach. Thanks again for the time. We'll see you next week with episode 6.
Thank you. Have a good one.
And that was episode 5 of Running Wednesdays with Rick Seipert. What a fun one. A 5th track and field panel with Justin Sully, DeAndre Stallings. We had Megan Vadas and hold on. Yeah, Dewani Thompson as well. Sorry, my mind blanked for that last name. Had to double check. It's a Wednesday. It's hump day. We're getting over the hump, Scotty. We're getting over the hump.
Yeah, getting over the hump.
It's a wild morning for me too. So, Scott, we got on the air 2 minutes late, so I apologize for that. And there were just a couple of glitch gremlins going on. Not on the air, thankfully. But just some stuff. My computer took like 15 minutes to turn on. It was updating something, and that was unexpected, and just some unexpected delays there. I also want to apologize for anyone that was watching episode 5 for the kind of low audio volume for the 5th panel. We tried to fix that, but at the end of the day, we were just like, hey, you can hear them. It's not the perfect audio, but we weren't gonna press all the buttons and mess something up, and then you couldn't hear him at all. So we tried to fix it. We couldn't. And, at least you can hear him, right?
Yeah, you could. And it's good you clarified that too. I thought for a second it was my computer.
No.
Yeah.
I think it was whatever they weren't using a phone. Whatever they were using just didn't have a great microphone. And they had to get all 4 of them in frame, they had to be kind of far away from it. So unfortunately, we just didn't get the best audio. But like I said, the answer is you can still hear them. Just got to crank that volume up a little bit on your speakers, and you'll be fine.
I'll tell you one thing with all these interviews we've had over the past several weeks. The thing I love about it is the camaraderie you see with the group, and they're always like, you see them, and they're always like laughing, like cracking a smile, in a good mood. I love that. It puts me in a good mood. So,
wait, Scotty, you're always in a good mood, buddy. And look at him coming in with the hat tilted a little bit, feeling a little hip hop-ish.
Yeah, I got it. In this tonight could be the last game for my Cavaliers, so I had to go a little.
Keep the faith, Scotty.
Hardcore and put a little more style in it.
Keep the faith. You never know, Scotty.
You never know. That's right. Anything could happen.
Scotty, we have to shout out the teams that are advancing into the district championships. We have our first round of district championships set from last night in divisions 2 and 3 in softball. We have 2 all YSN district championships as well that are going to be going down on Thursday. So that means 2 districts are guaranteed to give us a YSN team into regionals, and we're expecting a few more as well. But want to congratulate Columbiana for winning 7-1 over Rootstown last night to punch their ticket into the district championship. They will be playing South Range, who got a win over their arch rival Poland 9-6, the 3rd win of the season over the Bulldogs for the Raiders. They go into the district championship game against Columbiana South Range Thursday night at 5:30. We want to give a shout out to Champion, who got into another district championship. No shocker there. That program is built to be in title games. They're in another one. They won over Berkshire 11-0. Lakeview got the win over LeBray, so they are going into the district championship against Champion. Round 2 between those 2 schools. They did meet once in the regular season. Gabby Gratishar threw a perfect game in that matchup. 5-0 win, champion in that regular season matchup. So Lakeview trying to make some adjustments to try to get to Gabby Gradishar. They'll have to do that on Thursday in LeBray. 5 o'clock the start time for that one for an exciting all YSN championship. We also, those were the only ones from, we also saw Canfield get into the district championship. That's Division 2. Divisions 2 and 3 last night. So Canfield into the district championship. They got the win over Kenston last night, and they will play Marlington in the district championship on Thursday in Hubbard. Want to also give a congratulations on a fantastic season to a couple of teams that we saw end their year last night. Howland fell to Field 7-4. So they end their season in the district semifinals. West Branch falls to the top-seeded Aurora Greenman 12-1. So West Branch unfortunately has to say goodbye to their season as well. So the championships are set in 2 and 3, and now tonight we get the district championship games in divisions 1 and 4. We'll start in Division 1. The only team left in Division 1 in YSN, Scotty, Austintown Fitch. They're going to be playing Chardon tonight in the district championship at Youngstown State. And it will be on ysnlive.com, by the way. Ty Bartel will have that call thanks to a generous sponsorship from the Fitch Softball Boosters. They have sponsored the game, so you will have it free of charge. Ty Bartel will be on the call from Youngstown State University. Should be a good one between the Hilltoppers and the Falcons as the defending state champions try to get back into regionals for the third straight year. It would be a third straight district championship for Fitch. Then we go into Division 4, where we have several teams fighting for a district championship, all in different districts. So we have the possibility of having 3 teams in the regionals from 3 different districts in Division 4. We have Jackson Milton after their upset of McDonald. They will be playing Canton Central Catholic tonight in a district championship. That will be in Badger at 5 o'clock. We have Southern, who got the upset win in the district semifinals. They will be playing the second-seeded Mogador tonight in Dalton. So Southern is in the district championship. Good luck to the Lady Indians. And then last but certainly not least, we have Middle Ridge, who got the win on Monday against Maplewood. So they will be in the district championship on tonight. Why am I saying on tonight, Scotty? They will be in the district championship tonight against top-seeded Matthews. That will be in Jackson Milton at 5 o'clock. So Middle Ridge, Jackson Milton, Southern, and Fitch all trying to go for a district championship tonight in divisions 1 through 4. Any thoughts, Scotty?
I was just gonna ask you. I was thinking a lot about this, and I was gonna ask you. Obviously, with Fitch, I mean they're a powerhouse, juggernaut. So I just wanted to know, like, if you were going into this, say, as a player or a coach, like, do you like the being that, like, the beast on the block, like the bully, like a Fitch, or do you like maybe taking that role where you kind of fly under the radar a little more?
Well, the underdog is a great role to embrace, Scotty. It's fun. It gives you energy. It lets you sneak up on people, but you can't be the underdog and win a lot. So I think the easy answer for any competitor would be, I want to be the beast on the block. I want to be the team that is winning a lot, that everyone expects to win, that has the target, because that means I'm winning a lot, and that's the whole reason you play. You play games to win, right? You play. What's the Herm Edwards quote? You
You play
play
to
to
win
win the
the game.
game. So you play to win, Scotty. And underdog, if you have to embrace it, you're awesome. You can do that. It's an awesome feeling to go into an underdog game and get a win, because then you feel like everyone was wrong to doubt you. This us against the world mentality can be utilized in such a good way, and we've seen that throughout sports history. But you can't be an underdog if you're winning a lot. This is not how it goes. So give me the beast. Let me be the winner. The team that is the monster, the bully, the I don't know, the villain, right? You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. So give me the villain on the block, and give me the team that is constantly in the conversation, constantly winning the titles.
Uh, yeah, and I think it really goes. I mean, anything in life, and like sometimes it helps us to embrace that underdog role, and like I'm gonna defy the odds, and but any of us, if we could have it easier, we
Right. And
would.
not necessarily, I mean, you don't want to, no one goes into a game or even a stage of life where you're trying, where they go, I am glad I'm the underdog. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
no, you embrace it if you are. You say, we are the underdogs. No one believes in us against the world, chip on our shoulders. We know how hard we work, yada, yada, all that fun stuff. But at the end of the day, no one goes into a season saying, we hope we're the underdogs at the end of the year. We hope we're that team that no one believes in. No one
Uh,
wants that to start. They just embrace it when it gets there.
yeah, you embrace it when it gets there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, that feeling of like winning and like being a champion. You
I'll
know,
tell you what, if you're asking, if the question is, would I rather win as an underdog? Like you can't decide. It's already decided who you are. Or win as the team that's been there, done that. I think the feeling of surprising someone and winning as an underdog has that little extra exhilaration to it that just gives you that contact high a little bit, even when you're just like a media member broadcasting. Like when we're going and we're covering a game and the underdog, that's a YSN team, goes out and wins it, and we get to say, I told you this YSN team, I told you what they're about. Like there's something about proving someone wrong that gives you that like rush of endorphins a little bit. So I agree with you. Like if the choice is whether or not you rather win as an underdog or win as a favorite, I think the winning feeling feels a little bit better as an underdog. But if the question is, do you want to be going into a game? Would you rather be an underdog or be the favorite? I think those are two different answers.
and it's kind of like it's also something I thought about for here today. I did want to get your thoughts real quick
We
uh,
got a little bit of time. We're gonna go into overtime since we started late. So
on Lakeview Champion softball. But first, like this is another thing I was thinking about today. Like if we played sport, and I know we played. I play in the backyard growing up. You played some, challenger baseball and stuff like that. But I go back and forth with myself and go back and forth on, would I rather be average or even good at several different things, or would I want to be like great or elite at one certain thing? I go back and forth with that an awful lot. And I think like even though it's great to feel elite and have that elite feeling, if you're good, if your game's more well rounded, I feel like it can make you more versatile. So I think I would go with just being, decent at everything. But how about you, Anthony?
this is something that I actually talk to, the students that I get to coach in the summer. They're going through summer ball to get recruited. They want to get to college, and that's why they're playing travel softball. And one of the things you tell them is, okay, well, if you're only really 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 good at one thing, then you're kind of, that's the only thing that a college coach can pick you as. If a coach isn't looking for, let's say you're only a first baseman, that's the only position you shine at, and you're below average if you put you anywhere else in the field. Um, then the only colleges that are going to look at you are colleges that are looking for a first baseman. Anyone else will be like, you know what? You're not putting work in the other positions. We can't put you somewhere else. We can't even try to put you somewhere else. You better be a elite, like, holy crap, we can't even ignore this talent at first base if you're going to do that, because otherwise it's going to be, well, you know what? We have this girl that can play first almost as good as you, but she can also play everywhere in the infield, and we can put her in right or left if we have to. And that'll always be that person will always be recruited ahead of you, unless you're a freak of nature, which happens. We see a lot of them in Division I softball. We're going to be seeing a lot of them in the College World Series come May, late May, I should say. It's already May. We'll see a lot of freaks of nature that are really, really good at one thing, probably good at other things too. I don't think you get to that level without being good at other things. But unless you're at that level of elitism, which we don't see too much in one area, it's not conducive in one area where you see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 girls or guys that are just so monstrously elite that they're going to go into, Division I, Power 5 and compete for a World Series. So unless you're that, you better be good at multiple things. And even if you're that, you still should be good at multiple things. Like even Sydney Watts, I'm sure, even though Fitch doesn't really use her that way, I'm sure she could probably go at first if a team needed her to go. Definitely be a DP on the days that she's not pitching. I would be shocked if Georgia Tech is like, we're going to put you in the bullpen, and that's all we're ever going to expect from you, and we don't want you to do anything else. You got to be able to do other things for your team. So that's just one example. I mean, Melina Toth will be the same way in Buffalo. When you get into the smaller Division I colleges and even D2, D3, you better be versatile, because they don't have the luxury of recruiting, 6 or 7 elite pitchers that they can just say, okay, all you have to do is pitch, because we have 6 other players that are right there. We are fine in that position. But when you get into lower levels, when you get into the smaller colleges, they're not recruiting 5, different players that can all play, in the infield if they need them to. So you will have to be very versatile.
Yeah, and you talked about the differences in the recruiting, but I think too that when you look at it, like a lot of times when you are great,
Mm-hmm.
it's or elite, it's not so much about, I think it's because they're so good in one aspect and they're top notch. I mean, not all, but in a lot of cases, they have the ability to be versatile.
Yeah,
So
and
what-
honestly, pitchers are a bad example, because pitchers are usually, especially when they get into college, they're going to do that one thing. They're going to pitch. They could hit, but you're not going to throw your pitcher out there in the field. So the pitcher was a bad example on my part, but because all of our elite Division I players right now in the area are a lot of pitchers. So except for a couple of players that are going to YSU, of course, there's D1. So like Ayla Ray is a better example. I'll just jump to her for Austintown Fitch. Plays short for Fitch, but she catches. She's caught before. She can catch. You can put her in any part of the outfield. You'll be fine. She's versatile. She's not someone that only can play shortstop, and if you move her out of short, she's going to be lost. That's something that YSU's going to use. YSU probably wouldn't be as interested in her if she was only a shortstop and that's the only role she could play. Even if everything else was just as good as it is right now, everything was just as good, the defensive numbers were just as good. If she was only a shortstop and never played any other position, then there might be someone that gets the spot ahead of her. But because she plays shortstop, she's caught before. You can put her in the outfield with her speed. Probably put her at second, because the middle infielders are kind of, you can the only places you probably can't put her, maybe the corners and short. You could probably get away with putting her at third, though, if you wanted to. She definitely can catch. I mean, I didn't mean short. I meant pitch. So there aren't too many places on the field that Ayla Ray can't play, and because of that, she's a very vital asset to a team.
and you
Same thing with Bellemeyer, by the way. He's going to YSU as well.
yeah, and there's so many. You talked about the elite pitching.
Oh,
This is kind of just one more thing I had for you today. When it comes to the rematch of Lakeview and Champion softball, um, you can't get any better than perfection
right. You can't.
first time around for Champion. But I wanted to know for you when it comes to Lakeview in this game, is it do you think the first time around maybe it was just a case of she just had it rolling and it was just a buzzsaw they ran into and they don't have to do anything drastic to kind of change things up? Or do you think maybe early on, maybe take more pitches or vice versa? Maybe they get a little more aggressive earlier.
I wish I saw the game in person to know what everyone's approach to the plate was and know how Gratish are really like X's and O's wise attack these hitters, because Lakeview is a very, very good offense. They scored 11 runs against South Range just to, I mean, they're really good. They have faced really good pitchers. They have hit really good pitchers. So to see Gabby Gratishar completely handcuff this offense like that was one of the biggest performances I've seen from Gabby Gratishar in her whole career, because she's had perfect games before. She has had no hitters before, but this Lakeview offense is, in my opinion, outside of maybe Fitch, and I'll throw Canfield in there, and South Range has a good lineup too. Comparable to South Range's lineup when you're talking offensively. Lakeview's offense is no joke. They are very, very good. They're deep 1 through 9. Not a lot of holes in the lineup to go after. And they have Max Stowe, who's just absolutely tearing the snot out of the ball with power, and Izzy Haynes as well. And they have speed for days in other spots in the lineup. So it's a very well-balanced lineup, hard to pitch to. So I was really interested if I could grab video of that game between Lakeview and Champion to see what Gabby Gradshire was doing so well to really handcuff them. She's a screwball pitcher first, so she's going to attack the inside part of the plate. So if I'm coaching against her, I'm coaching hitters, I'm saying you're crowding the plate. You're sitting on velocity, even though she does have a changeup. She's going to hit you with speed first. So you sit on velocity, you react to off speed, and you try to take away the inside part of the plate. That's how you would attack her. That's how I would attack her. She's going to come in on you. She's going to throw that screwball for you. It's her go-to pitch. She has others, absolutely, but that's her number one pitch that she likes to throw, and that's what you have to take away. You have to do the whole Bill Belichick motto of defense, where I'm going to take away what you do best. If you do other things well, that's good. Tip of your hat. You'll be able to do that. But I'm going to make sure that what you do the absolute best is what I'm going to take away. And the Patriots defense is always good at that. So as a hitter, my mindset against any pitcher would be, I know what you love to do most. I'm going to take that away. If I'm playing Sydney Watts, it's, hey, you love the rise ball. I'm not swinging at your rise ball. Gabby Gratishar, you love the screwball. I'm going to crowd the plate. I'm going to try to take away that inside corner. For Milena Toth, it's a little bit of the same. Sydney Watts, she has a really good rise ball, really good strikeout pitcher, really good curve too. So I'm sitting a little bit on the outside, trying to go opposite way to Milena Toth and trying to take out her outside corner of the plate. So, you just got a pitcher, you try to take away what they do best and let the dice fall where they may. But I would love to have seen what Gabby Gradishar was doing so well to not just shut out Lakeview, but not let them get a hit at all. At all. It was 5-0. Another thing about Lakeview, Scotty, right quick before we go, because I know we're now treading into way overtime. Champion scored 5 runs in the first inning, and then Lakeview's pitching controlled them the rest of the game. So I think the pitching for Lakeview is going to be pretty confident, knowing that, hey, we had one bad inning where maybe the jitters got to us, or it just, we weren't ready to go from the start. But the innings 2 through 7, we pitched phenomenally against this really good Champion lineup. So I think Lakeview's pitching will be pretty confident against the lineup of Champion. They just have to find a way to make adjustments on offense because they cannot get shut out and expect to beat the Flashes. They have to score. They don't, maybe with their pitching, they don't have to score as much as other teams do against Champion, but I would say if they don't get 3, 4, 5 runs, then their chances of winning a district championship go way down. So you got to score. You got to make adjustments and try to score on Gratishar.
I think those are all solid points. The last thing I'll say here before we wrap up, is it's a different level, but even you look in the major leagues, there's been times Justin Verlander completely dominated the Indians, now Guardians, and there's been times where they really roughed them up. So for Lakeview, all it takes is that one time. If they get that solid pitching like they got most of the first game, anything could happen.
And the reality is every pitcher, no matter how good they are or how good their stats are, they're not going to hit every spot. They're not going to hit every spot throughout the whole game. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to miss a spot. It's just how many do they make, and can you take advantage of the ones they do? So that's what it comes down to. And Gratishar will miss a spot here and there. And the good thing, if you're a hitter against Gratishar, because she loves the inside, if she misses to you, usually it's over the heart of the plate, and usually it's one that you can turn on and go way out of the ballpark for.
And it's again, I'm so excited. This is a great time of the year. Right before we're almost getting to, like, what do they say? Memorial Day is kind of like the unofficial start of summer. So, man, things.
I think the official start is June 21st, so that's what the summer solstice. And then we'll go from there. But right now it feels like summer. This rain that was supposed to come today hasn't come yet, so we're keeping our fingers crossed that the rain holds off. We get district championships in softball. We have sectional championships in baseball as well. Cardinal Mooney will be on the network tonight, ysnlive.com/live. That one is sponsored and will be brought to you for free as well. So we want to thank you. So is, by the way, Columbiana Crestview Baseball. Thanks to Columbiana McDonald's. We got the big boys sponsoring us now, Scotty.
Oh yeah. Like we talked about on our broadcast, the power of those McNuggets, man.
Oh, the power. Maybe it got him. Maybe that got him. Maybe the power of the Nuggets right before Caitlin Pluska's home run had someone from McDonald's watching and going, you know what? We need to jump on this really quick.
Yeah, let's hope so for us.
So we will be back tomorrow to recap all that action on Running Point. Scotty will be back next Wednesday. So will Running Wednesdays with Rick Seipert. Next Wednesday, we will talk about the recap of the districts in track, by the way, that are going on today. So good luck to all of our track runners that are trying to get into regionals, as well as the softball and baseball players that are in postseason. It's the most exciting time of the year, and we're here for it on YSN. We will be back tomorrow to tell you all about what happened tonight. Thank you so much again for tuning in to Running Point, brought to you as always by our good friend